Hi, my name's Gail, and I'm a massive fan of dogs. I've got two of my own. I have Joey the cockapoo, he's 3, and I have Angel. She's a Lhasa Apso and she's 6. And they really are my world. And I recognise that even more so since the COVID-19 virus outbreak and people having to lock down. They've been an incredible support for me in a way that I really didn't think was possible. And over the past few months, I've been learning more and more about dogs actually, and how the most vulnerable have been able to live an amazing life through the help of dogs. Now Hannah's in a wheelchair, and we went back there in March before the lockdown, and I've got to say she's one of the nicest people I've ever met. I found her incredibly inspirational, and I'm sure you'll agree. Up to 7,000 people in the UK use assistant dogs to help them with everyday chores. Today we're going to meet a young lady called Hannah who has her dog, Hudson, help her with everyday things from picking up the post to helping her take off her socks. Let's go and meet Hannah. Hello there, Gail. Hi, Hannah. Lovely to meet you. Hello. Here's Hannah and here's Hudson. Come on.
Welcome to the madhouse, as my light box is over there.
Woman with a sense of humour, my kind of woman.
Yeah. Make yourselves at home.
So Hannah, it's lovely to meet you today.
And you?
Yes. Can we start off with your condition? Do you want to tell me about the condition?
Yeah, I'm 29 years old, nearly in my 30th year, so lots of celebrations coming up this year. I have quadriplegic cerebral palsy, which means it affects all 4 limbs. My left side is more affected than my right. I'm a full-time wheelchair user. I employ a team of 9 carers through direct payments to assist me, because without them I wouldn't be able to live, quite frankly. And Hudson fits in very well, and without him I wouldn't be able to live.
So thank goodness for Hudson. So how long have you been in the wheelchair?
Since birth, yeah. I spent the first 10 years of my life in Jersey, went to mainstream school, etc.,
Yeah.
but wasn't very happy there. I got bullied quite a lot, and I wasn't able to take part in PE or anything, because there just wasn't any adaptions. Quite often during PE lessons I would be sort of forced to sit out on the side and read a book, which really depressed me.
I was going to say that must have affected you.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
It has. It still does, which is where Hudson comes into play really. I have depression, and I've been on antidepressants for 12 years now. And I'm also in ongoing counselling. But I think some of the anxiety and depression comes from the fact that I am disabled. It's a side effect of that.
Yeah.
So Hudson relieves that, because Hudson makes me feel more able-bodied.
So how does the condition you have actually affect your life? You know, from everyday washing up, doing the, making yourself a cup of tea.
I sort of say that physically I have the ability of a baby. Now I know that sounds quite demoralising coming from my own mouth as a nearly 30-year-old, but without these girls who are standing behind me, and without Hudson, I would not be able to get up because I cannot wash myself. I get tired. My hands are tired, so sometimes I need feeding. I can't turn over largely, so I have to have 24-hour care because if there was a fire, I wouldn't be able to get myself out of bed. I can't move independently. I can't bath independently. So everything has to be done for me, basically, on a physical level.
How Hudson, your helpful hound, helps you in your daily life? What does he do?
Well, from a purely emotive point of view, he gets me up in the morning.
Yeah.
He's the one stable thing that's always there. He doesn't go home at night. He doesn't finish his shifts. He's not at work, you know. He's always there no matter how I feel. From a practical point of view, he can take my socks off. He can sort out my gloves. He can pick up the phone if it's on the floor. He can, he just assists really. He just gives me confidence to be out and about. Before I had him, I would never sort of go out by myself or never be happy to be left.
So he's quite intuitive to you,
Yeah.
isn't he? He kind of knows you, your personality. How long have you had him for?
Since the 30th of January 2015.
So you've had him 5 years.
Yeah.
What would your life look like without him?
Oh, I dread to think. Yeah, not very nice. I've come on leaps and bounds with him. I mean, physically, it probably wouldn't be that much different because although he does do things for me physically, if he wasn't doing them, my carers would just do them. But mentally, the impact of him not doing those physical tasks would make me quite depressed because, in a sense, with him doing the physical tasks that he does, rather than the carers doing them, I feel that I've got some control and I feel that I'm doing it myself. Yeah. Even though I'm not doing it myself because he's doing it. But if everything was being done for me by a carer or to me by a carer, as some people might see, then I'd feel a bit sort of infantile, I suppose.
You must feel quite proud of yourself and sort of where you've come and having Hudson by your side to help you get there.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of Hudson. You know, we've been through a lot together. You know, and he's come on leaps and bounds because he's been with me, and I've been able to. We've helped each other really. We've brought out the best in each other because Hudson reminds me of my own value as a human being, and reminds me of actually that I am important, and that it's what I want that counts. I mean, because
I feel like in this discussion, I feel like that's exactly what I can sense from both of you. I think you both are very in tune with one another. Yeah. So he can sense when you need his help, even when you don't need his help. And I think that's because you do that odd thing where, you know, you will have that cuddle and you will let him on the bed. I think that's the part that makes you special, the two of you together. Yeah. That's probably why it works so well.
I mean, he's very good. He knows that if I'm calm, then he can be calm.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a massive credit to Helpful Hound, really. You know, the only reason he'll get confrontational is if he thinks something's happening to me.
Oh, and that's the way it should be, isn't it? Isn't it amazing when you see a dog and their owner together, just how in tune they can be? Now let's go and meet Peter. Peter works with Helpful Hounds, and he worked closely with Hannah and Hudson. And he also is part of the training process of those dogs. So let's now meet Peter.
My name is Peter Rufus. I'm a trustee of Helpful Hounds Assistance Dogs. I also work as the CEO on a volunteer basis. As a charity, Helpful Hounds trains assistance and therapy dogs for families who are dealing with autism, Down syndrome, physical disabilities, as well as diagnosed emotional issues. And in addition, we embed dogs with educational establishments that have students with special needs. At the moment, we have around 20 families plus 4 school dogs and 5 adults that we support. Hannah is one of the adults we support with her dog Hudson. You've heard from Hannah herself, and you'll also hear from Kim and Phoebe with Whisper, and also from Lucy with Carmela and Tinker. They represent a cross-section of the families we support, and whilst you can see the difference that the companionship and support makes to their lives, we are ourselves inspired by their positive approach to life, which is only enhanced by a wonderful dog that has now come into their life and giving them assistance. How do we train our dogs? First of all, we need to recognise that we're not just training the dogs. The families, the carers, and anyone involved in the dog needs to be trained to recognise that they are dealing with a working dog and they're not dealing with a pet. That's not to say the dog doesn't have some puppy time, but there are certain disciplines that have to be maintained, and the cues given to the dogs have to be consistent. Our trainers only use incentive-based training and are members of the Institute of Modern Dog Trainers. But in order to have a confident assistance dog or therapy dog, we start as early as possible, not only with the basic training, but importantly with socialisation. The puppy must learn to respond to humans and other dogs calmly, but also be conditioned to other influences such as traffic, to shops, to restaurants, cars, trains, buses, and school or business premises. Done correctly, the young dog will be confident and take everything into its stride. The final stage of training is the public access test to show the dog is safe and confident in the community. Plus, there will be a number of tasks trained depending on the partner's needs. This could vary from deep pressure therapy to calm, to helping with dressing, fetching the post, picking things up, emptying the washing machine even.
There's so many things that Peter does, and with his help, specifically with Hannah, it really shows how people working together with these beautiful animals can accomplish so many things. So we've had a really good conversation so far. I want to see Hudson at his best with you. So do you want to show us some of the things he helps you with?
Yep, of course. Hudson, post. Fetch post. Good boy. Good boy.
Fantastic.
Hud, fetch. Good boy.
Fantastic. Well done. What about some other things? Do you want to show me some other stuff that Hudson gets up to with you today?
Yep. Good boy, but not now. Nearly. Wait. Now pull. Good boy. And then just do this, just to show again. Good boy. Good boy.
I've loved meeting Hannah and Hudson, and what's quite amazing is learning how they work with one another, and I feel like I've learned so much from their relationship, and it's obvious how much Hudson helps Hannah. But today we're going to be meeting someone else. We're going to be meeting Tom and Riley. Now, Riley is a retriever, and he's in training to become a therapy dog that goes into the local hospitals. So let's go and see Tom and Riley.
Hi, my name's Tom and this is Riley, and we're both from Southampton, which is in the south of England, and we live here with my mum, my dad and my 2 brothers. So we first considered Riley for being a hospital dog when we first saw him. When we went to pick him up, we saw his mum and his dad, and they're both really chilled out, relaxed dogs. They'd obviously come right up by your side, calm, didn't bark. For Riley, when it comes to being a hospital dog, it doesn't necessarily mean he's doing anything to cure or help them out. It's just really being relaxing, acting as a sort of scapegoat for them. They escape their problems, escape their illnesses. They can just, for a few minutes or in a few hours or whatever, they can just chill out, have fun with a dog who will reciprocate that happiness, bring them happiness. do everything he can just to chill them out. He's a very happy, relaxed dog, so if they are stressed or worried about anything that's going to happen, maybe an operation or anything that can happen when you're in a hospital, he's there just to sort of take you away from those problems for obviously a short amount of time. Unfortunately, yes, it does mean that Riley needs to be trained. I mean, I'd say he's nearing the end of being trained as a hospital dog now that he's 2 years old. He's quite old. He's not that old, he's a baby, but he's obviously becoming an adult in terms of dogs. I'd say he's fully trained in terms of living around the house and being relaxing. We've taught him not to bark, we've taught him when not to jump up, which is a very important thing. He's very relaxed, but he's also very curious. He's happy to go and meet strangers, people in hospitals. He's happy to do anything if there's a treat in it or if there's food in it, eh? But yeah, he's a very happy dog. We've taught him to know his boundaries, to know and to work with children, which is a very big part of being hospital trained.
Now finally, Hannah and I went to Marks and Spencer's so that we could see just how Hudson helps Hannah get out and about.
Yeah. So tell me about the law that you were telling me about earlier, because I'm ashamed to say that I didn't know much about this 2010 law that came in about the dogs.
Well, basically, it's just to say that all dogs that have been qualified as assistance dogs are allowed to be in any public place within reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, and that if you discriminate against the dog, you're in essence discriminating against the person as well.
But that just don't think people know. I don't think people are educated enough, are they?
Yeah. A lot of it's fear, I think.
Yeah. It's the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah, fear of the unknown. If people realise that I'm calm, and if the people around me are calm, then Hudson will be calm.
Yeah.
If he senses that there's questions and that there's people not quite sure about it, then he won't be calm because he picks up on it. He's a very sensitive dog.
Yeah, and he's there to protect you. That's what his job is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is to make sure you're safe.
Yeah.
So after meeting Hannah, I have to say my life has changed for the better. What an inspiration. I thoroughly enjoyed my 3 or 4 hours with Hannah and the dog Hudson, and I loved the inspirational stories that she shared, the things that we as sort of the outside looking in on Hannah with her dog coming in. We went to Marks and Spencer's and we had lunch together, you know, and that whole experience, sort of being there with her, and just how fiercely independent Hannah is, and just how helpful Hudson was with her, and how beautiful the community is around her, the assistants that were helping her at the checkout. You know what, it was an incredible experience, and I thank Hannah from the bottom of my heart for letting me come into her home, share just a few hours on how Hudson has helped change your life and helps you get a better everyday experience. And it's just wonderful, and I'm really happy that you let us into your home and you shared this experience with us. And I look forward to meeting you again, Hannah. You're an inspiration.
She's having a funny moment.
On the next episode, it's going to be all about the kids. We're going to be meeting Lucy, Carmela, and their dog Tinker.
Hi there, my daughter Carmela, she's 6 years old. She has a progressive muscle wasting disease called LMNA, congenital muscular dystrophy. She's aware that she's different to her friends at school because she can't keep up with them or she can't pick certain things up. So our consultants advise us maybe getting a buddy to help her with her sad days, but also to help take her mind over things. So step in Tinker, the puppy.
She's jumping over a ball line.
We'll also be seeing Kim, Phoebe, and their dog Whisper. See you next time.